Hey y'all, Rick Guy here, and this is the best smoker, electric smoker for 2020 in my opinion. Now, I've been using electric smokers for several years. You can check out my old playlist from several years ago, but you know, the technology changes and there's a lot of things that one should take into account if they're shopping for an electric smoker. So there's a lot of brands out there. Pit Boss and Masterbuilt are probably the two most common ones that you'll see today in 2020. And there's a lot of different varieties. Some of them have integrated temperature monitoring solutions. Some of them have digital controls, you know, like a control pad instead of a knob. Now, after I performed my research, I wanted something that was going to be, number one, affordable, number two, something that would keep a consistent temp, and something that would be easy to replenish the wood chips as needed. And I didn't want to go with pellets. I know a lot of people like pellets. I just like putting in these types of chips right here. And you can find them linked within this video's description too. But it's just easy. You can get them at most grocery stores. You know, not difficult to find, and they're typically very cheap. So this one, it does have the glass window, which is nice. Obviously, after you smoke and it cools down, you want to clean the inside so that you can continue to see through it. That's a nice feature. The knob, this is just called the analog knob. I like that because it's one less thing to mess up. I opted to not go with an electric smoker that has the built-in temperature monitoring solution. The reason being is that there's a lot of third-party solutions such as this, and this thing's awesome, and you can find it linked within this video's description. But this right here, you can plug in up to 4 probes. You can see I've got one probe, and I'm using it as an ambient probe, so it's plugged in on the same shelf as my standing rib roast that I'm smoking. So you can see on that shelf, it's 270. I'm doing it a little bit warmer. Normally I like to, you know, smoke around 225, but this is a really big piece, and admittedly, I'm accelerating the temp a little bit to meet my deadline. And then over here, I've got the second probe for inside the meat, so I'm going to monitor it until it gets to a medium temperature. The beauty of this is that I can also monitor that from my iPhone, and I can monitor it from many feet away. Actually, it'll reach throughout my entire house. So whether I'm in front of the smoker or I'm pulling out my iPhone, I can know, you know, what is the ambient temperature and what is the temperature, the internal temperature of the meat that I'm smoking. And again, that supports up to 4 probes. So you could use 1 for the ambient, you could use 3 for meat, you could use all 4 for meat if you didn't care about monitoring the ambient, or you could do multiple ambient temperatures. You know, maybe you do 1 on the upper shelf and then 1 on the lower shelf, because, you know, I found the temperature inside of this fluctuates a little bit, you know, depending upon if you're using a lower shelf or an upper shelf. So for that reason, I put the ambient temperature on the same shelf as the meat that I'm smoking. But this thing it's got a lot of good things going for it. Number one, this latch is very nice, because when you assemble it, check out my assembly video, you can adjust the tightness, so you can fine tune it to fit yours. I've noticed minimal amount of air gaps. That's a thing that a lot of people comment about with inferior smokers, is that they get air gaps, and you know, it's not good for temperature regulation. This does have wheels on it, but you know, unless you're rolling on hard concrete like this, if you're going to roll through the grass or something, you would probably just want to get a cover for it if you're keeping it outside. If you're keeping it outside, definitely get a cover. And you know, I'm keeping mine outside because I don't have a way to conveniently wheel it over to another location. But yeah, minimal amount of things on this to break, in my opinion. You notice the legs, how it keeps it off the ground. You know, if it was wet out, you know, the possibility of water getting into the unit itself is reduced. So that's a good thing. It does have an integrated ambient temperature probe, although I found that since it's up high, it's typically, you know, it seems that it's monitoring the temperature of the uppermost shelf, whereas I often use the lower shelf. So, you know, something to be aware of. Obviously, you know, that's another reason why you would probably want to pick up a temperature monitoring solution like I use. You know, that way you can monitor the internal temperature of the various items that you're smoking. regardless of where they are inside of the smoker. So good build quality, easy to assemble. It was, an easy one-person project. Again, I like that knob. I like how you can just turn the knob, and it doesn't have the little plastic buttons that'll probably wear out more quickly. I felt the price was right. Again, there's a lot of electric smokers that cost a lot more than this, and there's very few that cost less. So, it's not that I was not just a budget shopper, but I was looking for something that hopefully would last longer. I got what I wanted. Again, I brought my own temperature monitoring solution, and the other thing about having your own temperature monitoring solution is that if that breaks, or if they say a company comes out with one that's just more awesome in the future, you could upgrade that and not have to upgrade your electric smoker. And you can see how I've got this temperature monitoring solution. It just goes through the door and it works great, no problem at all. So I've been impressed. I've smoked a bunch of ribs. This is my first time doing a standing rib roast in this, but I tell you, I'm super excited about that, man. And subscribe to my channel and check out my Pit Boss electric smoking video playlist, and you can find step by step how I did this standing rib roast. And I've also already, at the time of posting this, I've got a video up, how do I smoke ribs in my Pit Boss electric smoker. So I've got that video up. But yeah, again, this tray, this was one of the things I really like. Just using standard wood chips like you can get in most any store. Again, I've linked all of it within this video's description. You can find the wood chips, the smoker, the temperature monitor like I use. Expand this video's description and click the link there. But this little shelf right here that pulls out, and see, then you got I'm not going to pull it all the way out. I don't want to reduce the heat. I've still got chips smoking in there, but I will be adding some more chips. I've found that they typically smoke for, I don't know, around 2 hours or so. So, if you really want to impart more hickory flavor, or cherry or pecan or apple wood, whatever you're using wood-wise, you can keep them replenished, because when they're really smoking, you'll see a ton of smoke coming out. There's just a little bit of smoke going now. It's almost time for me to put some more in there and, really let these things, really let that smoke further flavor this standing rib roast. So, yeah, convenient. And if you haven't used an electric smoker, well, why would you use that? There's the old, and I know if you're like me, you've grown up using the, like the old barrels. You cut a barrel in half and you put charcoal and some hickory in there. Why would you want to use an electric smoker instead of just something like that that's cheap and easy to come by? The thing with the electric smoker is that it uses electricity for the temperature regulation. So the use of wood is not for temperature control. You're putting the wood in there purely for the flavor. So, it's a lot less expensive to, the cost of ownership is a lot less because you're using electricity to power it. So you're not having to burn through as much charcoal and or, hickory chips or whatever type of wood you're using. So there's a cost savings component. Also, there's a convenience component. When you pair it with a temperature thermometer like I use, you can go in your house, you can have your smartphone in your pocket. With the app for this, you can set alerts. You can be notified whenever, whatever threshold is met, or if things get hot all of a sudden unexpectedly, you can be warned. So it's a way to, smoking is a slow process. It should be. If you rush it, it's not going to be as good. So, this is a way to go about doing other things. Keep your smartphone in your pocket, but know what's going on. Number one, the ambient temperature of your smoker. And then also, number two, the internal temperature of the meat or the meats that you're smoking in your smoker. Being able to monitor that from your device in your pocket. So that's pretty cool. So I've really enjoyed this, and I know I seem to be speaking super highly of it, and it's justified. I mean, it's really that good. And for comparison's sake, check out my videos from many years ago, and I don't even think they make this other one anymore, but I did a lot of Brinkmann electric smoker videos, and I really enjoyed that thing, but this thing is so much better. I mean, if you check out those videos, my Brinkmann electric smoker videos, you'll see it was good for its time, but you will then see very quickly how much more advanced this smoker is. And granted, this smoker's many years in the future. So, you know, that Brinkman is old school now, and I don't even know if they still sell it. But it cooks some mean meals, but this thing technologically is just so much better. Tell me what you think within the comment section below, and be sure to subscribe. And if you're looking for the smoker, the temperature probe, the wood chips, expand this video's description and then click the link there and you can find it all there. Thanks for your viewership, and y'all have a good day. Hey y'all, Captain Irix Guy here. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to subscribe. It's youtube.com/Irix Guy. And ring that bell icon when you do to be notified whenever I post another video. Thanks for your viewership, and y'all have a good day.